Hello there to everyone watching, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this video, which as you can see is looking at the first semi-final of BenidormFest, which took place yesterday on Tuesday. So 8 songs competed and 4 of them qualified through to Saturday's final. And there was some drama around the results, which I'll talk about later. But in this video, I'm going to watch a recap of the 8 performances and give you my opinions on what I thought about them. I did watch the live show last night, so you know, that's why I'm not doing full reactions, and I don't want the video to be too long, of course. So I'm just going to do reactions to the recap, but I will give you proper details of what I thought about the live performances and who I thought should have qualified, and if I was happy with the results or if I preferred something else. So I also will leave a link up above to when I reacted to all the songs in studio version, so please check that out if you want to. What will also really help is if you click the like button if you do enjoy this video, and also to consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. That way you can be informed on all future video releases from myself. And you can follow me on Instagram if you would like to. Details are on screen at the beginning and end of all the videos in my description box. And now I upload loads of Eurovision related stuff. And please do also let me know down below what your thoughts were on BenidormFest semi-final 1. Did you enjoy the show? Were you happy with the qualifiers? Did you think something else should have qualified? And you just let me know your general thoughts on the show. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so I've got the recap video up here ready to go. And as I'm going through, I will stop the video for each performance. So we started off with Lyrica. So I did like the staging idea that they had here to like keep it all within that kind of astronaut theme. I thought the performance was nice. Vocally they were okay. The song was one that never really grabbed me on the studio version. I think it had nice moments, but then it went into kind of the chorus, which was just the instrumental EDM-y, vibey part, and that never really grabbed me. I kind of, you know, got bored of it after a while because it does kind of go on for a long time, and I feel in the live performance that was still a bit of an issue. So wasn't one of my favourites. Not that surprised that it didn't qualify, but like I said, it was a nice and cute performance. But yeah, no real groundbreaking or standout about it, I found. Then we went on to Noan, the second performance of the night, and I thought we had a very nice staging concept. I thought that was quite good. I really did think he had quite nice vocals too. The song did give a kind of mid-2000s American pop rock vibe, which I appreciated. It was kind of always one that was kind of on a borderline qualifier for me. Based on the live performances, it was my number 5 of the evening, so it wasn't in my top 4, but if it was to have qualified, I wouldn't have been too upset about it. In the end, it did just miss out on qualifying. But yeah, overall, a good performance. It was quite enjoyable, but maybe there was something just missing to make it really stand out amongst the field with all the other songs. But you know, it was one that I did quite enjoy. Okay. And then we go on to Sophia Cole, of course one of the big fan favourites, possibly one of the ones that people thought could have contended for the victory, but based on the results of the first semi-final, it doesn't look like that's going to be a case anymore. I will be honest, when I watched the live performance, I was a little bit disappointed to begin with. I think something was going on with the sound mixing of the live show actually, because everyone seemed to have vocals which I couldn't really quite make out amongst the the backing. It was like either the microphone was too low or the backing track was too high. But when I watched the performance again on YouTube on the official channel, it seemed like maybe they'd managed to sort that out for all the performances, so hopefully that doesn't affect anyone on Thursday. But vocally she was good. She wasn't perfect. Some of the I notes weren't quite working for me, but I feel that she did good enough for what's required with this type of song. My main issue with the performance was that I feel like they've tried to do quite a lot of Eurovision cliches all in one performance, and they've thrown loads of ideas at it, and I feel that some of them are okay, but quite a lot of them are just not working in the performance. I don't think we needed to have that big massive prop and her making her way down the steps at the beginning and then all the way back up at the end. I think that was a bit of an unnecessary added job for her to do in the performance. I wasn't too keen on either of the outfits either, and obviously a costume change is another one of her Eurovision cliches. And then obviously we had the dance break too, which I don't think was in the original version. I didn't watch the music video which came out in the last week or so I don't know, I assume it was added at that point. But for me, dance breaks, they're coming quite often now, and obviously with Chanel and Noah Kirel, I think that has kind of elevated the standard of dance breaks at Eurovision. And I feel like if you're not reaching those levels, I feel that sometimes you have to ask whether you should be engaging in the dance break yourself, or maybe just leave that for the backing dancers to do. So I don't think the dance break in this performance really added an whole lot for me, but I really do enjoy the song a lot. But as a live performance at the moment, I don't think it was fully delivering for me, but still amongst one of my top 4 of the semi-finals, so happy that it did qualify for sure. Now we move on to Mantra, who of course were the surprise winners of the televote, but we'll get to that in a mere moment. So I did like the song. Was always sort of nice and cute. The performance was nice and cute, but nothing about it ever really jumped out at me. And for that reason, I wasn't particularly surprised that it was last with the jury. I think it seemed like an obvious jury last placer. Coming first in the televote was quite a big surprise. I've seen some conspiracies and theories online about all of that, which I'm going to leave alone. But I think it is quite shocking that a televote winner can miss out on the final altogether, and I think that there will need to be a look into the system that is being used for the scoring. I know they did touch upon it after 2022 with Chanel and then beating Tank Shigeris and Rigoberta, but I think Chanel's good result was able to kind of show that the voting system worked. But I think there definitely does need to be a look into it if BenidormFest is going to continue. And I'll talk about that a little bit later after I've done the recap reaction. But yeah, this wasn't one of my favourites. I thought it was sweet and cute, but probably not really good enough for me to make the final. But of course, the televoters thought differently. But yeah, the jury had it low down so much that it didn't progress. But it was nice and sweet, and it's happy and feel good and fun. So, you know, I can appreciate it. Okay, so Miss Caffeina, blah, blah, blah. So this was one of my favourites on studio version, and I did enjoy the live performance too. I'm very pleased that it did qualify. They gave a strong performance. There's nothing groundbreaking or stand out about it. It's not going to change the world or anything, and I wouldn't necessarily say it would be the choice for Eurovision, but for me, I really did appreciate it and enjoy it, and I'm pleased that it qualified. So yeah, nothing really much more to add onto that one. They just delivered a very strong, competent performance. Okay, so Kike, unfortunately for me, this was my least favourite performance of the night. Studio version, I do actually quite enjoy the song, and it would perhaps be one of the ones I would consider to put through to the final. But live performance, vocally, it was pretty poor. Unfortunately, throughout the song, their vocals were quite shaky. Some people have said that maybe the staging was a little bit too busy and too much going on. I can see that as well, but I think for me the biggest thing that kind of took away the song's chances and ended the song's chances were the poor vocals, which is a shame because it is a nice song. So we move on to the two final performances of the evening, which were for me my standout performances. So Angie, Fernandez here. So I really did enjoy this a lot, and I wasn't massively keen on the studio version. I appreciated it, but it wasn't one of my favourites. But she really adds really strong vocals. She really knew how to sell the song. She's got sort of very strong stage presence and personality. So all of that brought together made it one of the standouts of the evening, one of the best, probably the best vocals of the evening, I would say. I would personally prefer not to have the images of her on the backing screens. That's something that I probably would do without, and I feel like she doesn't need all the extra stuff going on around her, with the prop and all the extra choreography and all that other stuff. I feel like it's just adding in extra layers that are kind of not there. I feel like she can sell the song on her own, just kind of rocking out and that sort of thing. So I would perhaps like them to make it all a little bit simpler and just let her do her thing and sell the song, because she has got far and away enough stage presence and star quality to do all that. So overall though, really did enjoy this, and one of the clear top 2 performances of the first semi-final for myself. And then we get to Nebulosa, who for me this was probably the shock and surprise and the big standout for me personally. I was never a big massive fan of this in studio version, although I had picked up that there is some traction for this in Spain. But I feel that live this really did come alive for me. This might be due to the fact that we had the audience singing along. I think that definitely added an extra element. But then obviously we had the staging, we had the guys with the costume change, which really does get your attention sort of straight away and kind of draws you into the whole vibe of the song and what's going on. And people have commented on her vocals, and yeah, her vocals are not the most amazing in the world, but I feel for the type of song it's going for, that kind of sultry vibe that is there in the song, I feel they work perfectly fine. And for me, this was actually gone from a song which I didn't particularly care massively about in studio version to the live performance where it was my favourite of the night. And yeah, I would actually be really, really excited if this was actually chosen to go to Eurovision. So yeah, really enjoyed this one a lot. Okay, so there we have it. That was my reaction to the recap of the 8 performances in BenidormFest. And as I said, I didn't say during the video, but I was pleased with the results. My personal 4 songs that I thought were the best on the evening, sort of taking into account performances and studio versions previously, were the ones that qualified. So I was really pleased with that. I perhaps would have liked to have found a way to get Noan into the final 2, as I really do like that song, but of course we can only have 4 qualifiers, so that wasn't to be. And on the balance of everything, the 4s that went through are the ones that I wanted, and I did sort of touch upon it in the video, but I did think that the sound mixing was a little bit off on Tuesday, so I hope for the semi-final 2 and for the final that gets sorted out. I do want to touch a little bit more on the old controversy with the televote winner Mantra not making it through to the final, which I think does need to be looked into. I've seen some people suggest that the televoting numbers are so low in Spain that there needs to be this imbalance where the juries have more power to try and counteract any potential fixing or what have you of the televote to try and get a particular winner. But I don't really necessarily think that's a fair way of doing it. And also I should point out that although they say it's 50, 25, 25, it's not really that at all, because the jury have 8 members and they could give a maximum of 96 points, is my understanding. 8 juries, 12 to the top scorer. But then with the televote and the demoscopic jury, the way that they allocate the points means that the maximum you can get from one of them is 40. So 40 plus another 40 is 80. So then you've got 96 and 80. So those together don't make 50-50. So the allocation of the points for the demoscopic and the televote really does need to get looked into, because I feel the way that they've done that gives less reward to the ones that come out on top of those standings, and gives more to the ones that come out at the bottom, because you're getting 16 points for coming last in that vote, and the gap between first and last is only 24 points, which really isn't a lot when you think about it. So things really do need to be looked at too in the scoring on that side of things. And I think because it did get brought up in 2022 when Chanel won over Tank Shigeras and Rigoberta, and I think people in the end just accepted it because Chanel obviously got third place. I think the Spanish broadcaster kind of used that as their evidence to say, look, this system is working, and just keeping it as it is. I have no issue with the 50-25-25, to be honest. I just feel that they need to make sure that it is actually properly 50-25-25 and not these random numbers that they've just created on the televote and the demoscopic jury to give out to each of the entries based on their placing, because it does feel like they've just kind of made up the numbers so it adds up to the same total as the televote. But really, in reality, when you actually look at the specific numbers, it isn't actually a fair distribution. But those are just my thoughts on that one. And I do feel that after what happened yesterday with the televote favourite not even able to make it into a final of the show, I do hope that something does get looked into, because it really does need to get looked into. The juries are obviously there to create a fairness and a balance, and obviously if a jury stops the televote winner from winning, that's fair enough, but to stop it from even progressing to the final, you kind of have to ask questions there. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on that, and I don't want that to take away from what was an enjoyable show and an enjoyable evening. And I'm hoping Thursday brings another enjoyable show in the evening too. So please do let me know down in the comments below what you did think of BenidormFest semi-final 1, your opinions on the performances, the qualifiers, the controversies too. Please do let me know all that down below, especially if you are from Spain yourself. And are you looking forward to semi-final 2 as well? Please do let me know that. If you did enjoy this video, please do click the like button. Please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell to be informed on all future video releases. And please follow me on Instagram if you'd like to. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please do take care. And until the next video, goodbye.